Hello, welcome to, a thing. Yeah, it's this. Welcome to Let's Play Elsinore by Golden Glitch Games. You would have seen their little logo, except it didn't start. I'm Michael.
I'm Cameron.
I'm going to kind of lead things here because I am the Shakespeare guy. And we're going to play through this game that is about Shakespeare's Hamlet.
Can I get a little gag in here?
Sure thing.
I wish they'd Elsa less.
Great.
Sorry, I had to get it in somewhere. Okay, so these are characters from Macbeth.
Yes, right, exactly. Macbeth is the tutorial mission. And that's going to get us set up for then completing Hamlet and defeating Bowser for the final time and sealing him in the Dark Realm.
Horatio's in another castle.
Mm-hmm. So this is Ophelia and her father Polonius, and we're going to see a lot of them over the coming episodes. And as we can see, Polonius needs Ophelia to help him stop the king from talking so Ophelia's brother can get to Paris to go to school.
So the plot of this game, this game is taking Hamlet and doing stuff with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to tell you two things that are important about this Let's Play. Mm-hmm. One, I don't know anything about Hamlet.
Great.
Two, I don't know anything about how this game actually works.
Great. So we're gonna get to see this firsthand because this first episode, as we will see, right? This is kind of the tutorial. This is sort of pre-game proper, and it's showing us how to open our journal. This is a game that it's very simulation-y in certain ways, and it is about the space of Elsinore, which is the name of the castle, and sort of having conversations with the people within it, and that can change how the story of Hamlet plays out.
Mm-hmm.
So here we have our two characters that we know. We can get information on them. But then, for instance, hearsay, which was the tab we were just looking at, that's topics or bits of information that we can learn about that we can say to characters to get a reaction from them. And sometimes they'll give us more information or further information. And other times we can tell them things that will change what they are going to do.
It's kind of like a vocabulary, basically.
Yes. Right. It's like certain characters, of course, will take certain bits of information in different ways. Here we are. This is Horatio.
There's some stars or something.
There's some stars?
In your Earth and Thoughts, Horatio? What's the thing?
Oh, okay.
In your Stars and Garters, Horatio?
in your Stars and Garters, sure. So this is the idea behind this game, right, is that, and this is the problem with every Hamlet video game, because there are a lot of these. There's a whole lineage of them. And the problem with every Hamlet video game or game in general is, what do you do? Like, mm-hmm. do you have a story that is just the story of Hamlet and like playing through that? And how do you make that interesting? The answer here is that we are not going to be Hamlet. We are going to be another character who has a different perspective on those events, right? We're going to be Ophelia. And I don't want to explain too much about exactly what's going on here because we'll see throughout the course of this episode.
Mm-hmm. So I've really been listening to you talk. What have we learned so far? Are we playing currently the plot of Hamlet right now? Are we just wheeling around? What's going on here?
Yeah, so if you want to map this, what's happening in the game right now, these are not scenes that appear in Shakespeare's play, but in terms of the timeline, this is approximately like the beginning of Act 2 of Hamlet / the end of Act 1. So Hamlet, the actual play, has already begun, and we have taken on Ophelia kind of in one of the moments where she's off stage.
So we're kind of Rosencrantz and Guildensterning.
Yes.
A little bit here.
That is precisely the way you want to think about it. If you're familiar with Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead, And it's even more so that because there are going to be characters here who don't even show up in Hamlet, who are making things happen that do happen in Hamlet. So there's a lot of really interesting stuff going on in that respect.
So we're really Lion King 1.5 it.
Yes, right. All of the various things that Hamlet is, or things that are close to Hamlet, they're all here. It's all happening. That's the joy of video games, multimedia, baby.
Mm-hmm. And we all know from Hamlet on the Holodeck, Janet Murray's Game Studies Classic, it's impossible to make a Hamlet game, and other than Halo Reach, of course. And so I'm interested to see where this goes.
Yeah, it's great. This is these two characters here. We've talked to Horatio and Marcellus, who are characters from Hamlet. Horatio is Hamlet's friend. Marcellus is one of the guards in the castle. This character, Lady Britt, is one of the original characters that I gestured toward. She doesn't like us very much. She says, she just called us half rank. She says we have no prospects.
Damn.
Yeah. We're gonna deal with her a lot, and the fact that she doesn't like us and why she doesn't like us.
Damn, Ophelia just said a French coastal gale is calling his name.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get owned by nature, absolutely annihilated. Well, there's some interesting stuff here going on too around the dialogue. So people are not missing anyone's dialogue here because it's all like a little kind of Simlish at the beginning of the thing. They're like, yes,
yes. No, the little barks or like dialogue tags that we get are few and far between, but they're very good, I think. And this is another new character. This is Irma. She is the castle cook.
Yeah. My food does not wait for the Danes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I see what's going on here. So we tell people things, and then they build information about the world in the same way that we are building information about the world, and that like impacts what they're doing. Right.
The characters have a sort of a set of beliefs or things that they think are true about the world, and you can change those. And see, we're noticing some background information here, right? Irma and Britt, neither of these people are from here. They are not from Denmark. Irma came over, I don't remember if it was mentioned in her little write-up, but she came over with Queen Gertrude, who is from Bohemia.
There's a fast travel system? Oh, no, it's a manual travel system.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. That's a good little thing.
Dearest.
And this is, when you see the little 3 ellipses popped up, that's when you can listen in on a scene.
And is this a scene from Hamlet?
This is Claudius, as he's being informed that Fortinbras, who is the sort of prince of Norway, is threatening to invade Denmark and take back some lands that the previous king, Old Hamlet, took in war.
Mm-hmm. Papa Hamlet.
Yes, Papa Hamlet.
Are you certain?
We can see he's as hot-headed as his father was.
Bernardo.
And this is Bernardo who who is talking to the king, who's delivering this information.
Everybody appears to be 17 years old.
Everyone's pretty young. I mean, actually, yeah. I would say the cast of Hamlet is pretty young in general. Hamlet himself is like 16 years old.
Really?
Well, depending on which text you're working from. You can actually work out 2 ages. One of them is 16, one of them is like 30. And the thing is, Hamlet is very different if he is 30, and here's Hamlet himself, because he is a university student. So in Shakespeare's time, it would be very weird for him to be 30.
Mm-hmm.
16, yes. 30-year-old Hamlet raises some questions. Here's Laertes. This is our brother.
He's cool. He's got good facial hair.
Yeah. He really wants to go back to school at Paris, but he needs the king to grant him leave. But unfortunately, Claudius is just going on about Fortinbras.
And so we can just talk to whoever we want here?
Yep.
No.
Interesting.
There will be instances where you can't talk to people based on things that have happened to them, like their mood will change. But I don't know if we see any of that in this first episode.
So the first time that you're playing this game, I mean, is your goal I'm trying to get through Hamlet?
That is a good way of doing it, because that's going to give you a sense of like when things happen and how they happen. But really, you can start like this is still sort of tutorializing the game itself. We haven't even really started like kind of the first movement. But yeah, like the idea is figure out like start out by trying to make Hamlet happen, see where this game is going to put up roadblocks, and work your way out from there.
Mm.
Absolutely not.
They won't let Hamlet go back to school in Germany.
He wants to go to Wittenberg.
Mm-hmm.
He's brooding too much.
Yep. And this is straight up. We are watching a scene from Hamlet here. And of course, you'll notice that this is not written in blank verse, because most of the time the scenes get rewritten into kind of the voices of the characters. It's that sort of adaptation. And I think it's, pretty good.
Mm-hmm. More Ethan Hawke, less some other thing.
I mean, the thing about the Ethan Hawke one is that they did use the original text, and it
is it one of those?
Yeah, and so it's like in modern day, but everyone's speaking in blank verse, and everything's all like weird and transposed. Hamlet.
My son.
Ophelia's just standing here for all this.
Yeah, so one of the sort of like conceits of this game is that Ophelia can basically turn invisible when she wants to, which is fine, right? There isn't a game sort of otherwise, but you can eavesdrop on people and be in plain sight, which is fine, right? There's a way in which, honestly, this game could have been almost like a text adventure.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could have had like, you walk in here and you do this, and this, and you can overhear these things. And here we have Irma talking about taking care of the queen when she was younger. But I do think the graphics and sort of this, you already compared it to The Sims, right? This is very Sim looking, but sort of painterly. I think it adds a lot.
Yeah, I think it looks great. I think this is a good like conceptual setup. Also, looks a lot like an isometric RPG.
Mm-hmm.
Is this Baldur's Gate 3?
It could be. That might be one of the endings. Tie-in.
Oh my god, you find out you're a ball spawn at the end?
Yep. Ophelia the ball spawn.
Mm-hmm.
Please.
And this is...
Hamlet.
If I could only dissolve, right? That's a rewriting of a famous Hamlet speech, right? Oh, that this too solid flesh would melt, thaw, and resolve itself into a dew.
Yeah, the rewrite's way better.
Mother.
He's really brooding right into this fire.
Mm-hmm.
Disgusting.
Hamlet actually gets some of the best little speech tags in this game. I think we're going to get one of the... I think we get one of the best ones in this episode shortly.
Disgusted. I hate it. Hamlets hate it.
And then here's me seeing if this is a different conversation. It's not. And they won't let me get out.
Oh, I see. So if like the world state or the local state hasn't changed, you're just going to get the same information. You're going to have to either do something to move the state or just leave.
Well, or let time pass, right? Scenes. You can think of things happening as being like scenes that will take place during a certain amount of time. And you can listen to the conversation, and they give you enough time that if you're off doing something else, you can get to the room and overhear the conversation with a little bit to spare.
And so is there like a world clock running?
Yes. It's not a huge part of what we have to deal with yet, but it becomes a big thing later.
Gotcha.
And here we're establishing very famously that Hamlet and Ophelia have been in some way romantically involved, and by the time that the play begins, they have called it off.
Ophelia has a very early 2000s haircut.
The interesting thing I think about this game is that the setting is both historical and fantastical. They didn't try to be like straight up here's how, because Shakespeare himself was not historical, right? Shakespeare did not actually give a damn about what was going on in early medieval Denmark when he would have set the play. So he sort of mixes and matches like historical knowledge with kind of contemporary understandings of like English court politics and English fashions. And so like there's a explicit part in Hamlet where Shakespeare like dunks on a rival theater company. Right. And so this game does something kind of similar of creating a sort of amalgamation of time and place.
My son.
Dang. Laertes got a bunch of good doublets he's going to wear.
Mm-hmm. Got to look good in Paris.
Be careful.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to inherit that crown someday.
Right?
That's my Polonius voice.
I mean, it's a very good voice for him.
Ophelia.
It could be my ghoul voice I've been working on. Hey, smooth skin.
Yes, Father.
Sleep now.
Go to bed.
love.
Why is there like a little naked lady painting on the wall? What is that?
What? Why wouldn't there be a little naked lady painting on the wall? I believe it's a mermaid, actually.
It looks like it's just in the middle of the hallway.
Here's our map.
Okay. You can just, so you're not teleporting there, but you're just running there. This is good. This is like very Baldur's Gate-y, actually. But I wish all games had this option.
Yeah. And they're usually like, in some places there are little items in the environment you can look at. There's not like loot or anything. That's not that type of game. This game is very much about narrative and finding permutations of narrative. But, there's like bits of color and occasionally you can pick some stuff up. For instance, this is a book that I'm not going to have up for like, if you're watching and you want to read this, you can pause. But you can find these occasionally. There are just little books scattered around the castle, and they have little stories in them, little bits of microfiction that are not really connected to the plot, but tend to have a lot of overlap with themes. So this is a story about why you shouldn't maybe trust strange spirits that live in water.
Classic tale.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's one of those things where it takes certain things like trusting spirits and the dangers of water, which are very important for Hamlet, and it folds them back in a different way.
So is this the Elsinore version of audio logs, basically?
Sort of. Like you're not going to meet the people in this story, right? Within this is almost as if this is more like Elder Scrolls-y, right? See, I wish it didn't feel so terribly familiar.
Uh-oh. Hanging a lampshade on that bad boy. Okay, so like these are all the named characters. Now, does the cast list get bigger? It has to.
It will. Yeah, we're going to meet some more people. And also, I can't go see those people because the game is making me go to bed.
You gotta go to bed.
And that's going to end kind of the tutorial, and then we're going to, for real, start the game.
So we didn't miss any dial or like tutorializing or anything.
Not a large amount, right? So if you are familiar with the story of Hamlet, then some of these scenes should be familiar.
None of these are familiar to me.
Yep. Well, like, just rest assured, this is the end of Hamlet, right? This is what happens to everyone. Everyone dies.
Oh, I'm saying, okay, good. So some of this stuff I knew happened kind of at this point. So like him talking to his ghost dad and all that stuff. But
Yes.
I was like, I didn't remember all these people dying at the beginning of Hamlet. Okay, but good. So these are like possible futures or probable futures. If the play Hamlet is to be believed.
Yes.
But we're going to butterfly.
And it was a dream that Ophelia had.
Hello?
It was all a dream.
Yep.
Hamlet.
And this is Hamlet confronting Ophelia in her rooms, which is a scene from the play that we don't see. We just see Ophelia reporting it later.
Worms and wriggling.
That's one of my favorite Hamlet barks. Worms! Worms! So So what has happened in Hamlet is Hamlet has met his ghost dad. Mm-hmm. That is what has happened overnight. That's the difference between yesterday and today.
Mm-hmm. Ophelia learns more about Prince Hamlet's madness.
Mm-hmm.
I think we'll all learn a little bit about that today.
Father.
Papa.
You mustn't.
And if you are just totally unfamiliar with Hamlet, the reason that Hamlet met his ghost dad is that his ghost dad has come back to tell him, hey, your stepdad, my brother, your uncle, who is now the king, killed me to take my throne, and you need to revenge me. Hamlet notoriously is very conflicted about this.
Mm-hmm.
Be careful.
Be careful.
Mm-hmm.
Boo. Oh, so there's a timeline.
Yes. So when we start doing things to change what is actually going to happen in the world, things that might potentially happen will show up here.
So what? So these are things that. Oh, I see the world clock now. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Right. So it's Thursday at 6 a.m., which is about when every part of this game will start.
Gotcha.
We haven't gotten to sort of the real hook, but we will by the end of the episode.
Hamlet.
Ophelia.
Here's Hamlet trying to explain himself, why he came into our room and started yelling.
Has Hamlet got a bunk bed?
Stop.
No, that's a canopy.
Oh, that's I think my screen is a little dark. Stolen portrait. Oh, of his papa.
Yep. I actually don't think to click on it in this episode to explain that.
He ripped it off the wall.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta have that. It's the only Polaroid I have of my father. So this is a lot of like shareable information, and we're choosing what we want to talk to Hamlet about, which will change Hamlet's actions.
Yes.
Let's go.
Ophelia, this is step number 1. Never go to a second location. Never. It is always bad.
Oh, but unfortunately, we are going to go to second locations constantly in this game.
No. That's an interesting design thing. I don't, I understand why you do that, because it gives you the opportunity to do other stuff in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
But from a gameplay perspective, that often feels like, oh, well, I'm just going to go over there and do that thing that I was going to do already. It often ends up feeling like filler, even when it's not.
Yeah. It becomes like it can feel like filler here. It sort of depends on what you're deciding to do. So here's another thing that can happen, for instance, right? The world keeps going. Characters have things that they are doing even when you're not interacting with them. So Horatio and Gertrude here go on walks in this garden basically every morning. And you can come by and listen to their conversations, and you get sort of more flavor about them as characters and the world outside of Elsinore. So if that's a thing that you're interested in, right, you can just explore kind of a particular character and see what they do throughout the day and what conversations they have, if that's a thing that you want to do.
Can you pet that cat?
You can. I'm not sure if I do. There are dogs and cats in this game. You go over and you'll like lean down, and they all have names. We're getting Horatio's whole backstory here, right? We get a sense of how cosmopolitan he is. He was born in Venice, for instance.
Cosmopolitan? Much like his stars and garters?
Cosimo Medici.
Oh my god! Okay. Well, he doesn't want to go back, it seems.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a smug look about him.
I mean, he is a bit smug. Oh, yep, here, I'm going to talk to Cleopatra. Oh,
Hello, little one.
Why did she become French?
Little one. You know, that's why.
Okay, all right.
No one can tell me what they are. You yourself said, hey, it's, Shakespeare didn't care about reality. He just did whatever he wanted to. They could all be French. I don't know. All the characters. So we've been invited back here? Like the game said, hey, come back here and see what's up?
No, I'm waiting for this scene down here to start. But I've decided I'm going to talk to Rosencrantz and Guildenstern instead.
Okay.
Because they're here.
That's a funny hat.
Mm-hmm.
She's wearing. It's a floppy top hat.
Yeah, so Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are gender flipped here. It's Lady Rosencrantz and Lady Guildenstern.
Mm-hmm.
And they are Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, very much so. And again, if you're... Oh,
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, if you're someone who is not familiar with Hamlet, who are these people? They are Hamlet's school friends who have been called in to placate Hamlet, as this text puts it.
Dear Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, your bro is oh so sad.
Mm-hmm.
Bring a keg. Come hang out.
And so here's what we missed, is Hamlet was having a conversation with Horatio and the guards about what they saw last night, specifically the ghost.
Which is a famous scene.
Mm-hmm.
From the thing. He is running. He is booking it off the screen.
Yes, he is.
Holy shit.
Because he has to go meet with me, actually.
Oh, that's right. That's right. So we missed that scene entirely because we wanted to check out what Rosencrantz and Guildenstern were doing.
Right. But now he has to... This is where we were going to meet earlier.
Mm-hmm. I hoped you'd come. I hoped you would chase after me the whole way from the last place we were. He's so sad looking.
Mm-hmm. He is.
I don't think I would have my back to the water. In a general sense.
Hamlet just wanted to respect our boundaries.
I was beside myself. And my ghost dad.
So what we are doing here that is interesting is, if you are reading the play Hamlet, it is an open question how much Ophelia knows about what's actually going on. Because she has so little time actually on stage and a lot of stuff that concerns her gets sort of reported secondhand, you can interpret the play, for instance, in such a way that Ophelia has been secretly told by Hamlet a whole bunch of information about the ghost and so on and so forth, and that she's actually in cahoots with him throughout the play. And then there's another reading, of course, where she doesn't know anything and sort of quite famously in the fourth act goes mad and eventually drowns.
Mm-hmm.
So the question for this game, right, is what does Ophelia know and what is she doing and what's up with that all that madness and drowning stuff?
Is this out damn spot?
No.
That's the other one.
Mm-hmm. That's the tutorial. That's Macbeth.
Mm-hmm. Once my dark work is complete and that's bolded?
Yep.
What do you mean by that?
I just love her frown. Like, the portraits can be very, very good.
Prince's ambitions, huh? Okay. Some dark work of his own. I guess in like the pseudo medieval. Oh, you can just follow somebody?
Yep.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so this is one of the reasons I'm following Hamlet is because by following Hamlet, you will see, for the most part, the play Hamlet.
I like the idea that as the play Hamlet is going on, this is implied to be happening.
That Ophelia is following him around the entire
Just
time.
everywhere, yeah. The whole time. Yeah, this is a quite neat little game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, damn. He stole that portrait.
Yep.
Prince.
And this
It
is
wasn't
a very...
reading anything.
he's reading now. Come on. We're working on sim time.
Fascinating.
Dang. I'm going to float one here.
Okay.
Hamlet's an annoying person.
Yeah, you would not be the first person to have that kind of interpretation of his character. The thing that I think that I haven't mentioned up until now is that Hamlet famously, after meeting his dad's ghost, says that what he needs to do is pretend to be crazy so no one will suspect him as he tries to work up a revenge plot against his uncle. And that's what we just saw him doing by being sassy and reading a book in the gallery.
I don't know if this is working out for you, but Hamlet.
Hamlet.
Okay. His bros are showing up.
Mm-hmm.
Gilda?
Let me.
What's that? Like a shawl? What is that thing called they're wearing? On their shoulders. A cape.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not big on early modern clothing,
Rosie?
but it does look a little cape-like.
Yeah, I don't know.
Gilda.
Obscenity.
Honestly.
Yeah, so the official story is that Hamlet's dad died because he was bitten by a snake while napping in an orchard.
He got stabbed to death, didn't he?
No, he was bitten by a snake.
What?
That's the official story. Wink, wink. Right, because he was actually assassinated because poison was poured in his ear.
In his ear, huh?
Yep.
Does that work?
And now Hamlet has figured out that Rosencrantz and Guildenstern were called in by Claudius in order to surveil him. So now Hamlet wants to avoid Rosencrantz.
Hey, my stepson's being too moody. Do you think you could send some students to placate him? That's my letter to the dean. Uh-oh.
Yep. Here's a new character.
Is this a canonical character or a new character?
It's complicated. We'll talk about it.
Father.
Okay. So if you weren't there, if Ophelia was not there for that conversation, would she fall down?
This is one of the things that is timed to happen in your first day of the game. So, because it introduces that character who we just sort of met.
I see. So even if you were just standing out by that pond alone, you would have passed out.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
Yeah, so it turns out there's a traveling player who's here to put on a little show for everyone in the castle. And this is also a famous scene from the play within the play, that Hamlet has arranged in order to get a confession from his uncle about his guilt.
My lady.
So this is Quince. In Hamlet, the play, there is an entire group of players who comes to Elsinore. Quince himself is a character from another Shakespeare play. He is a character from A Midsummer Night's Dream.
And you're just coming to hang out?
Well, he is the player now.
Huh.
Yeah.
Is the player named in the original thing?
No, it's just the players, and there's like the first player and so on and so forth.
Huh. Is he an elf or something?
He's a little elfin. There's some scampiness about Peter Quince. You'll notice he's talking about things have been set in motion. And we'll need to speak further.
So it seems, in order to like play this game, it seems like you need to know Hamlet to like have a good time with this game.
Yes, I would say so, right? You want to have some sort of interest in Hamlet. You want to have seen Hamlet a couple of times, maybe.
Welcome, one and all.
Okay.
Yeah.
What, was he going to DM?
Sort of.
Oh gosh.
The murder of
So
Gonzago.
is that the real play in the thing? Half of the show is going to be saying, is
Yeah.
this real or is it not?
The Murder of Gonzago is the play that the players put on in Hamlet. It is about a brother who murders a guy who murders his brother, who is the king, and takes over his throne.
Gentlemen.
Oh.
Huh.
Ooh.
What? These masks are terrifying.
Mm-hmm. Quince is not an unterrifying person in this game.
This is a one-person show?
Mm-hmm. He's that good.
Clearly. Uh-oh.
Oh.
Everyone's surprised.
Yeah, because it seems like it's a very touchy topic, the death of a king.
Oh.
2 months after the king has died.
Ah.
Uh-oh.
See, Claudius realizes he's the target here.
Wait.
I'm smug. He's got such a smug look on his face when he's not being sad.
Well, the the wild thing about this, right, is that this was a contemporary belief in Shakespeare's time, right? This was a thing people thought, is that if you went to the theater and you saw like a performance of a crime you had committed, you would be moved to confess that crime.
Really?
That is straight up when we talk about belief, we can put that in quotes, right? But when there are people who argue for the moral necessity or sort of the ethical use of the theater, that is one of the things that people say, right? Is that it gives you a moral example and it brings people to confession.
My lord.
Yeah, I mean that's how after the code was implemented in Hollywood in the early 20th century, that's how crime drama gets to continue, is by saying that we're making a bad example out of them, and so then therefore encouraging people to be moral.
Yeah, but the argument in the 16th and 17th century is quite explicitly there are accounts of and it's very often women. This is an interesting thing, right? Women who murdered their husbands, seeing a woman murder her husband in a play and then confessing her own murder there in the audience.
I can only imagine that playing out like a woman standing up and be like, yeah, that's right. That's exactly how I did it. That's right. And then having a very, a Mel Brooksian, oh, did I say that?
I mean, it's the only way you can kind of conceive of it, even though the writers tend to put it in more terms of they've seen the light.
Mm-hmm.
So this is another famous scene from Hamlet. Claudius has realized what was going on with the play and feels bad about what he did.
Oh, my offense is rank.
Everyone in this universe
It
has
smells to heaven.
a Metal Gear Solid cone of vision,
Yes.
where if you're not in that cone, they just don't know you exist.
Killed him.
Because he doesn't know Hamlet's here, right?
No, he does not.
Good. Great.
Yeah. Now you see, Claudius seems to think that murdering his brother was a necessity, which is an interesting thing to think about.
No.
What could his motivation possibly have been?
Murderer.
Save me from myself. Dang.
And here's Hamlet's big problem. Hamlet's problem. If he kills Claudius while he's praying, Claudius will go to heaven.
Is that a rule?
I mean, the idea is Claudius is giving confession,
I see.
right? And from the original text, this is a huge issue because old Hamlet's ghost says that the reason I am a ghost is because I didn't get my shriving time before I died, right? I wasn't allowed to confess, and so my sins are still in my soul.
Dang, can you get him out?
Well, that's what he said. He says, Hamlet, in order for me to stop being in purgatory, you got to kill your uncle.
But under a very specific set of conditions.
Yes. Well, mostly you need to kill your uncle and also not hurt your mom. Those are the conditions.
And not while he's praying, and not after he's eaten cheese for dinner.
Well, this is
also
the Hamlet is the one who ends up constructing a lot of the conditions himself, right? This is why Hamlet gets the reputation as a like someone who delays, right? Because he's the one who's like, well, wait a minute, if I kill him now, he'll go to heaven. See, here we can't talk to Hamlet because he's very upset. But why is Hamlet upset? That's weird. And if you're familiar with the play of Hamlet, you know something has happened here that the game has not told us about.
Well, what happened?
Well, where's our dad? He's not on the map.
Uh-oh. Did he know about it? Does he know about the murder?
Polonius?
Yeah.
Well, that's a question of interpretation. And we'll find out bits and pieces of what Polonius does and doesn't know in the future. But he's gone now. And he's not... I can't get into Gertrude's bedroom because the door's locked.
I think that does make sense. It's the evening time. And she's the queen.
Mm-hmm. I was going there to check it out because if you've read Hamlet the play, you know that where Polonius goes after the theater, after the little play, is Gertrude's bedroom, just to see if we could get any evidence of what happened there. But we didn't.
It's very dark for 5 o'clock, but I guess this is what? This is Norway?
Denmark.
No, Denmark. Because something's rotten there. I remember now.
Hamlet's better now.
I needed a bit of calm down time.
Precisely. I just want to see what sort of things I can tell him.
Not that much, really.
Yeah. To tell him something he already knows, but that I know that I know.
But he's not letting us in on his madness plan.
No, he is not.
His undercover sting op that he's running.
Well, Bernardo has some news for us, though.
Bernardo Higgins?
Yes, welcome, Bernardo.
I'm sorry, Ophelia.
Uh-oh.
Involved in an altercation with Prince Hamlet.
Hamlet.
What? Uh-huh.
So, in Hamlet, after the play, Hamlet fails to kill Claudius, then goes to meet Gertrude in her chambers at her request. Polonius is hiding out in Gertrude's room to overhear what Hamlet is saying, because Polonius is trying to figure out what's going on with the whole, madness plot. And Hamlet, who by this point is kind of maybe not pretending to be mad anymore, very rashly stabs Polonius through an arras, through a curtain.
Ophelia!
And everyone's just okay with that?
No. In fact, at this point in the play, and we're not going to see that much of it, but at this point in the play, Hamlet gets exiled.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a time jump? Is there a time skip?
No, there's pirates, but we'll talk about that in a later episode.
Okay, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
He's a real tail spinner, old Shakespeare, huh? Just took you for a ride. Ophelia now believes that Hamlet killed Polonius. That seems like a fact. It doesn't seem like a belief. They've declared a state of emergency?
Yep.
Jeez.
Now then.
No, then. Okay. Wow.
So this is the point in the play where Ophelia traditionally goes mad.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll say the game lines up certain other things with that point in a key way. We'll see that pretty soon.
Okay, so Laertes isn't here. Her brother's not here.
Yeah, he went to Paris.
Like a day ago.
Yes.
And he's coming back, presumably.
He will be. Yeah, no. Laertes hears about his dad dying, and he hightails it back.
He made it 15 miles away. When's this set? 1500s?
I mean, like 1300s maybe for Shakespeare. Like Shakespeare writes it at around 1600. Yeah. So here's Claudius realizing that we need to exile Hamlet, and Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are the
Whoop.
What's happening here?
What did happen there? What? Oh, it's that scamp.
It's a scamp.
What? This is some. Oh gosh, what's that thing called?
I
Where
don't know.
Nicolas Cage gets murdered on that island, and there's a bear and the bees.
Wicker Man?
Yeah, this is some real Wicker Man shit.
Yeah. Ooh, the king is so useless he can't find a spy in his own court.
Dang.
Huh.
Getting murdered.
Yeah, so that figure told us that Denmark must fall, and Ophelia dying is key to that.
What?
Stop.
Uh-oh, what?
She's in a Groundhog Day?
It's a Groundhog Day!
In my own bed?
Some sort of happy death day scenario.
Yep. So that is really the conceit of this game, is that we are in a time loop, and we can keep going through these same 3 or 4 days trying to get a different outcome.
Dang. And so there's no, so it's not just about doing the Hamlet play and experimenting there. It's about figuring out who the spy is too, huh?
Mm-hmm. Because there are certain things that we cannot do until that spy is not going to murder us. Because until then, until we find out who that spy is and can do something about it, they are going to kill us at that same time every like Saturday.
So now we got to go through that. I don't believe I'm in a time loop. I think at this point in my life, I would be extremely accepting that I was stuck in a time loop.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would, like, as a real human being who has experienced, numerous time loop narratives, I think I would just be like, all right, time loop time. Here we go.
All right, time to do it.
Mustn't.
Yeah.
I know.
Time to go Russian Doll.
Is that one of those two?
Russian Doll? You haven't seen Russian Doll?
Nah.
I would say maybe watch it. Yeah, and it's a time loop narrative. And it's specifically within the context of games.
Yeah, hard pass.
Okay. Now we can do something. I'm not going to show this off until next episode, but we can fast forward time now.
So we want to, if we care about one event, we can just skip right there.
Yeah. Let's tell our dad what's going on.
Is there any in-game system for knowing when events happen, or you just have to write that down?
It shows up in your little
in the
timeline.
Gotcha. Okay. I forgot about that. Okay. Listen. So this is why Ophelia, quote unquote, goes mad, is that her actions don't make sense because she's stuck in a time.
Polonius now believes that Ophelia is losing her mind. Yeah, and so that's where we'll leave off this episode. We'll come back later with Elsinore.
Yeehaw.